What's up, Campus Outreach East Coast Network staff? It's Matty B on behalf of the development team, and I'm excited to just take a couple of minutes of your time and tell you about a new initiative that the East Coast regional directors have empowered the development team to pursue. We're calling it the Staff Wellbeing Check-In. At the very end of Paul's letter to the church at Ephesus, he says this, "So that you may know how I am, and also what I am doing, Tychicus will tell you everything." So for the Apostle Paul to know everything is to not only know what he's doing, which is important. It's important that we know what each other is doing. But for Paul, everything was knowing what he was doing and how he's doing. That would be well-being or human flourishing. And Paul goes on to reiterate it in Ephesians 6:22. "I have sent him to you for this very purpose, that you may know how we are, and that he may encourage your hearts." So Paul just had two categories of understanding and knowing each other, what we're doing and how we're doing. And in order to lean into this, we've created what we're calling a staff well-being check-in. This well-being check-in will take you no more than 5 minutes. And before I just explain it quickly, my ask today is that if you haven't completed the check-in, which over 80 of you have, but if you haven't, that between now and next Friday, May 10th, you will take 5 minutes and complete this well-being check-in. So that's my ask. Well, what is it? We have taken 8 areas that researchers say really make up human flourishing. And those 8 areas, we're just asking you to tell us, how do you think you're doing? 1, I'm struggling. 5, I'm flourishing. And the check-in puts words to 2, 3, and 4. Just click. How do you think you're doing in these 8 areas that are central to human flourishing? And then we ask you one question. The question is, when you project your life 10 years from now, what are 3 of these 8 areas that concern you the most? And some of you are already saying, I'm not really concerned, but if I had to pick, I would pick these 3. And why? And just write a little note. What are we going to do with this data? I'll tell you one thing we're not going to do and 2 things we are. We are not using this to draw conclusions. We're not coming to this data to get some conclusions and say, from this self-reported check-in, we are blank. We are not blank. What are we going to use it for? We're not drawing conclusions, but we are going to use it as a cause to celebrate. What is God doing among us that we just look and say, thank you, Lord, that we feel like we're well in these areas? And the second thing is we want to allow it to spark curiosity. We want to be curious. What are the areas that we could lean into each other in the days and months and years ahead that would promote overall flourishing among East Coast Network staff? What are those places that we can serve and support each other a little bit better? So we want to use it to celebrate and to make us curious. How can we pursue overall flourishing as a network? So again, the well-being check-in, we want to create a model where we're knowing everything, which is what we're doing and how we're doing. And so we've created a simple self-reported survey that we're asking you to do between now and Friday, May 10th. Thank you so much. I look forward to reporting back to you about what we've learned, what we can celebrate, and how this has made us curious on how we can care for each other. Have a good weekend.